The program is brought to you by World Raise Me organization. World Raise Me organization, we deal with homeless people, we deal with food and charity, hunger, and a lot, sports, entertainment, and others. Today we are going to talk about climate changes because it's a concern right now. The climate is changing rapidly. What is climate? Climate is defined as a shift in the Earth's climate driven by human, not animals. Human activities, mainly greenhouse gas emissions caused by burning fossil fuel. Global temperatures are slated to rise by at least degrees. Which degrees I won't point out, or I won't air out. It might be 1.5 degrees, 1.6 degrees, 1.8 degrees Celsius, but the point is every time the temperatures are increasing. By 2030s, things might not be well, as we are going to see below. But we are already living the devastating impacts of global warming. As the planet warms, extreme weather events such as heat waves, floods, and droughts become more frequent and intense. Unfortunately, those who have contributed the least to climate change are affected the most without immediate action. The climate crisis could lead to widespread of poverty, hunger, and migration. Now, when you talk about migration, countries, let me not talk about human beings. Right now, as we speak, animals, rats, snakes are moving from place to place looking for a shelter because of heat wave. Now, we have 7 continents in the world. What have we done to tackle global warming? What have we done to solve the problem of climate change? We have North America, we have Europe, Africa, South America, Antarctica, Australia, and Asia. Technology, now as I speak, if some countries can come with an idea of creating robots that can sense plastic in anywhere where plastic is, to be collected and put in a particular place, how will the world be in years to come? Earth's temperature has risen by an average of 14 degrees Fahrenheit, 8 degrees Celsius per decade since 1880s. The planet is warming from North Pole to South Pole since 1906. The global average surface temperature has increased by more than 1.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Even more in sensitive polar regions, and the impact of rising temperatures aren't waiting for some far-flung future. The effects of global warming are appearing right now as I speak. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget that this program is brought to you by World Raise Me organization. We are on climate change. The heat is melting glaciers and sea ice, shifting precipitation patterns, and setting animals on the move, as I explained earlier. Animals are moving away from hotness, going to better places. Soon, human beings are going to be running away from houses, going to nearby places like oceans, and oceans are also becoming a problem, as we will see. What are the causes for rising emissions? We have people who are burning coal. We have oil and gas production. Whenever oil and gas plus burning coal is produced, carbon dioxide and nitrous oxides are produced. Cutting down forests, mostly government, they are cutting down forests for importing, and they export trees. Trees, they have got a big impact. Since I was born, I know that trees, they help in the formation of rainfall. Cutting down trees, we grew up knowing that cutting down trees, you cut down one tree, plant 2 trees. But now they cut trees, they don't plant anything. This is our government. Trees have got an example. Trees have got an advantage of helping to regulate the climate by absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. When they are cut down, that beneficial effect is lost, and the carbon stored in the trees is released into the atmosphere. Here, if we can come together, we start planting trees even in our homes. World Raise Me organization will start moving home to home, searching for people who have planted trees at our homes. There are types of trees that play a role in the contribution of rainfall, and there are trees that do not play a role in the contribution of rainfall. Adding to the greenhouse effect, increasing livestock farming. Cows and sheep produce large amounts of methane when they digest their food, which is also a cause for rising emissions. Fertilizers containing nitrogen produce nitrous oxide emissions. Fluorinated gases are emitted from equipment and products that use these gases. Such emissions have a very strong warming effect, up to 23,000 times greater than carbon dioxide. Add to the above, we have companies that are producing plastics. Uses of plastics is a serious on climate change. That's why I came out as World Raise Me organization. Other countries are busy producing robots. They are producing a lot of devices that can help in work, helping in this and that. If countries can come together, create technology that can sense a plastic where it is, it will be a great advantage. Look at the oceans, look at the rivers. Inside the river, you find a plastic. That plastic is holding either on the fin, either on any creature that is in water, which can lead it to its death. The proliferation of single-use plastic around the world is accelerating climate change and should be urgently halted. The report says plastic contributes to greenhouse gas emission at every stage of its lifestyle, from its production to its refining and the way it is managed as a waste product. One day I was in one of the park. 2 birds. I noticed some birds that were eating some was a bit of flour, and when I saw on their feet, plastic was around their feet, and you could see that some of them, the feet are cut off because of plastic. So this plastic being a threat, it attempts to meet the world. While plastic pollution in the ocean has become a high-profile concern, the effect on climate change on the ambitious use of plastic has not been a focus. After the extraction of fossils fuel to produce plastic, the carbon footprint of a material which has become ubiquitous across the globe continues through the refining process and on well past its useful life as a drinks bottle or plastic bag through the way it is disposed of and the plastic afterlife. The report says the authors say disposable plastic found in packaging and fast-moving consumer goods forms the largest and fastest growing segment of the plastic economy. We need to come together and work on this. World Raise Me Organization, thank you very much, people. So we are proceeding with the main drive of climate change in the greenhouse effect. Some gases in the Earth's atmosphere act a bit like the glass in greenhouse, trapping the sun's heat and stopping it from leaking back into space and causing global warming. Many of these greenhouse gases occur naturally, but human activity are increasing the concentration of some of them in the atmosphere. In particular, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, fluorinated gases, ice cores drawn from Greenland. For example, we have Antarctica and tropical mountains. Glaciers show the Earth's climate response to changes in greenhouse gas level. Ancient evidence can also be found in tree rings, ocean sediments, coral reefs, and layers of sedimentary rocks. This ancient of paleoclimate evidence reveals that current warming is occurring roughly 10 times faster than the average rate of warming after an ice age. Carbon dioxide from human activities is increasing about 250 times faster than it did from natural sources after the last ice age. Have you noticed that every year it's different? Every year the weather is different. But what I see right now, people can't see that. Climate change affects evaporation and precipitation. Climate change is likely causing parts of the water cycle to speed up, which is very, very dangerous. Warming global temperatures increase the rate of evaporation worldwide. More evaporation is causing more precipitation on average. We are already seeing impacts of higher evaporation and precipitation rates, and the impacts are expected to increase over this century as we speak. Higher evaporation and precipitation rates are not evenly distributed around the world. Some areas may experience heavier than normal precipitation, and other areas may become prone to droughts as the traditional locations of rain belts and deserts shift in response to a changing climate. Some climate models predict that coastal regions will become wetter and the middle of continents will become drier. Also, some models focus more evaporation and rainfall over oceans, but not necessarily over land. Let us look at changing climate means and changing weather. Climate warming is causing change to weather in different regions of the world. In particular, it is caused more extreme weather events than we have seen in the past. These extreme weather events can have impact on human health, limiting access to clean drinking water, food and shelter, and taxing people's ability to cope with heat, drought, or flood. Ocean water is warming and growing acidic. Haven't you noticed that? When I grew up, water, we used to say, what's the color of water? We used to say that color is blue. Water is blue. But when you look at water these days, it's green and brown. Warmer waters in the shallow oceans have contributed to the death of about a quarter of the world's coral reefs in the last few decades. Many of the coral animals died after weakened by coral bleaching. A process tied directly to warmed waters. Also, corals and other marine life find it more difficult to grow their shells and bones in seawater. Takes in carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and becomes more acidic. That means water is acidic for human life and animals. Let us ask ourselves about thunderstorms. Thunderstorms happen because of convection. When the heating of the Earth's surface by sunlight and infrared radiation causes water to condense as buoyant air rises. As carbon dioxide increases and the land surface warms, stronger updrafts are more likely to produce lightning. Where does lightning come from? Is also lightning part of weather climate changes? Let's proceed. How bad could the damage be? Lightning damage is also likely to increase because of its role in igniting forest fires, where dry vegetation is, also causing rising temperatures. It also creates more fuel for fires. To even a smaller climate change may have huge consequences. For example, lightning strikes killed 180 people in just 10 days during summer. In some countries, one of the countries, it is summer, but lightning is busy charging from the negative to positive charges, from positive to negative charges, visiting Earth. 180 people died in summer, with unprecedented surge in death caused by lightning being blamed on climate change. The last decade has been the hottest in some countries. I can give an example of India. Since records began with the temperature average of 36 degrees centigrade above normal. The rising temperatures have also been linked to frequent heat waves, followed by delayed but more intense monsoons with deadly lightning strikes now expected. I think within in 2050s, 2030s, things have to change. Things are going to change. Many educational institutions conclude that earthquakes are not influenced by climate changes, but that these shifting tectonic plates can have an impact on the climate over a long period of time. In short, while an earthquake may not be anything to the surrounding climate now. Unfortunately, for civilians worldwide, earthquakes are a scary and dangerous part of life. In the first couple of months of 2023, this year which we're in right now, alone there has been multiple earthquakes caused by sudden slip on a fault. The tectonic plates are always slowly moving, but they get stuck at their edge due to friction. When the stress on the edge overcomes the friction, there is an earthquake that releases energy in waves that travel through the Earth's crust and cause the shaking that we feel. Whenever the Earth is shaking, that's what we call it earthquake. What are other types of earthquakes? In addition to tectonic earthquakes, seismologists have classified 3 more earthquake types. Volcanic, this is when the earthquake that occur in conjunction with volcanic activity. We have collapse, smaller scale earthquakes that result from the subterranean collapse of caverns of mines. Explosion, earthquakes caused by underground explosion of nuclear or chemical devices. Brothers and sisters, is still on. We still to fight. We need to come together and fight climate changes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. This program has been brought to you by World Raise Me organization. Thank you very much.